This time, Fang Jueyu not only got Zhou Bin into the Super God Academy, but planned to bring Wang Kong in as well. The wonder of the Super God Academy amazed the two, and Fang Jueyu's task completion rate for the level 2 permissions finally reached 510000. Alas, the road is still long and challenging, Fang Jueyu sighed. Gathering 100,000 followers was not something that could be done overnight. He even considered publicly recruiting on his Weibo account, but the Super God Academy presently only had a handful of people. They had a strong teacher team but very few students, and their influence was quite weak. Fang Jueyu needed an opportunity, a moment when the Super God Academy would make a name for itself and be recognized by the public. With that, gathering 100,000 followers wouldn't be a difficult task. 2 peaceful days passed, and when Fang Jueyu was about to forget the last protection fee notification, someone still came to his door. "Young master, someone is here." Gogh's voice abruptly woke Fang Jueyu from his sleep. "Who is it? It's so early, can't a person get some peace?" Fang Jueyu looked at the time. It was only 5:30. He had stayed up gaming with Wang Kong until 2 last night and fell asleep without practicing. He was still very tired. Fang Jueyu had a major flaw. He had a severe case of morning grumpiness. Once in high school, he overslept during a nap in the classroom. The vice principal, checking on lunchtime studies, noticed the sleeping Fang Jueyu and knocked on his desk twice. Awoken, Fang Jueyu sprang up with a demeanor ready to fight, only to find himself facing the vice principal and promptly chickened out. Anyone interrupting his pleasant dreams would undoubtedly make him angry. Crazy people, are they really here to collect protection fees? Fang Jueyu wiped his eyes. Gogh Xinyu was still asleep, seemingly unaware that Fang Jueyu was awake. "Young master, should I throw them out directly?" "No need, I'll handle this myself." Fang Jueyu's morning grumpiness was nothing to dismiss. With a belly full of frustration needing an outlet, he had to find a way to vent. "Mr. Fang, Gudong of the Gukeng Sword Sect is here to visit." Just as Fang Jueyu was about to get up, a voice rich with inner strength echoed from outside the villa, enough to wake Gogh Xinyu. "What's going on?" Gogh Xinyu stretched, revealing her slender, alluring waist beneath her pajamas. Fang Jueyu kissed her lightly on the cheek. "Probably someone picking up junk. You keep sleeping, I'll go check it out." Gogh Xinyu was baffled. How could someone collecting junk get into such a high-end villa area? Still, she wasn't worried about Fang Jueyu. He had plenty of tricks up his sleeve and was never in danger regardless of the situation. Damn it, waking up early just to deal with lunatics. Fang Jueyu put on slippers and went out in shorts and a vest. Though it was January, his biological current rivaled the power of a fierce master, making him impervious to the cold. Squeak! Fang Jueyu opened the villa door and saw 3 people dressed as if cosplaying stood at his door. The 2 young men wore white robes, while the middle-aged man wore a black robe, each with a longsword on their back, looking quite ethereal. However, their demeanor seemed arrogant, as if they looked down on others. Did these ancient martial sects all think they were superior beings? 2 at the Hidden Force peak, 1 at the Hidden Force initial stage. This Gukeng sword sect is indeed stronger than the Bai family. Fang Jueyu saw through their strength in an instant. In the entire Bai family, only the 70-year-old Bai Ru had reached the mid-stage transformative state, showing that ancient martial sects had more depth than ordinary families. Clatter! Fang Jueyu tossed a handful of coins onto the ground. "No need to perform, you can leave. I'm going back to sleep. This is all the spare change at home." The middle-aged man's brow twitched slightly. Did this Fang Jueyu not know they were here to collect the management fee? Why did he seem to mistake them for street performers? Unable to hold back, the 2 young men were infuriated. The Gukeng Sword Sect was a notable sect in the Martial Arts Association. What CEO dared to disrespect them in the mundane world? When had they ever been humiliated like this? "Master, he's clearly looking for trouble," one young man couldn't help but exclaim. "Don't be hasty." The middle-aged man gestured for patience. Perhaps Fang Jueyu just woke up and didn't hear the inner strength transmission clearly. "Mr. Fang," the middle-aged man cupped his hands, "I am Gudong, the 6th elder under the sect leader of Gukeng Sword Sect. Today I'm here to collect Mr. Fang's annual management fee. I trust Mr. Fang has it ready and won't make things difficult for us." "Are you crazy?" Fang Jueyu shouted discontentedly. "Coming to someone's door early and causing a ruckus, I have morning grumpiness. I'm in a foul mood now, so get lost quickly or I'll call security." "What?" Even the middle-aged man's expression changed. Despite speaking courteously, Fang Jueyu responded with vulgar language and mentioned his morning grumpiness. Did he actually think their Gukeng sword sect was just some petty scam on the streets? "Mr. Fang, you should have received our letter, right?" "Of course I got it." Fang Jueyu had no intention of playing dumb with them. "Oh, I remember now. You guys are from the Gukeng sword sect." The two young men cursed Fang Jueyu 10 times in their hearts. They had announced their presence several times, yet Fang Jueyu seemed to completely ignore them. "So has Mr. Fang prepared the management fee?" the middle-aged man asked again, suppressing his internal anger. Fang Jueyu was not an ordinary tycoon. As the world's wealthiest, he couldn't be pressed too hard. "Prepare what hammer?" Fang Jueyu startled them. "It's 2020, and you're still playing the protection fee game. Don't you know the country is cracking down on social gangs now?" Fang Juyu's words rattled off like a machine gun. "So, does this mean Mr. Fang won't be paying the management fee?" The middle-aged man's tone shifted to coldness, feeling a surge of anger in his chest. They had never encountered someone so unaware of their place. "I worked hard all year to earn money. Why should I give you 30%? Did I eat your rice? Did I walk on your roads? Did I breathe your air? Who gave you the confidence in Gogh?" "Ridiculous." Having said that, Fang Jueyu intended to close the door and go back in. This group from the ancient martial sects must have gotten their brains crushed by a door to make such an irrational demand. "It seems Mr. Fang doesn't know who we are," the middle-aged man said coldly. "Ren Qi, give him a warning." "Yes, master." The young man referred to as Ren Qi could barely hold back any longer. He drew the longsword from his back, and instantly a cold gleam flashed past Fang Juyu's eyes. "Hey, we're in a law-abiding society now. Isn't that considered a controlled weapon? Do you believe I'll call the police?" Fang Jueyu shouted. "Noisy." Ren Qi took a step forward and swung his longsword, a sharp sword light sweeping past Fang Juyu's side. The golden Nanmu door of the villa was split in half instantly under that sword light, leaving a deep mark even on the ground. Although he was only a force transform master, Ren Qi had used the Gukeng sword technique of their Gukeng sword sect for that move, a level 7 martial art, considered highly advanced among existing ancient martial sects. Masters with deep inner strength could easily cut through an iron door, let alone a wooden one, making this move visually imposing. The Gukeng sword sect once relied on it to terrify many wealthy individuals. "This was just a warning. We'll come back in 3 days. If we don't see the management fee, then this sword won't just be cutting the door," Ren Qi said, sheathing his longsword and looking down at Fang Jueyu. "You?" Fang Juyu's lips trembled slightly, and in the eyes of the three from the Gukeng sword sect, it seemed he was frightened by the move. "What's a world's richest man? Just an ordinary mortal and no more than a tool for us to make money in the secular world," Gogh sneered. In fact, they were very excited to hear a world's richest man appeared in Huaxia. While Huaxia had many wealthy people before, most super-rich individuals were abroad. To an organization similar to the ancient Martial Association, if there was a similar superpower users, organization abroad, no matter how strong they were, they couldn't easily extend their reach overseas. But this time it was different. Finally, 2 super-rich individuals appeared in Huaxia. The ancient Martial Association had already secured $20 billion from Ma Teng, and having tasted success, naturally, they extended their claws towards Fang Jueyu. Little did they know, they were provoking a genuine demon king. "Hey, you broke my door, planning to leave without compensating." Fang Juyu's tone turned icy cold. Woken up early in the morning and having his dream disturbed was infuriating enough. Now these arrogant people had come and damaged his door, intending to just leave. Did they think Fang Juyu's home was a place they could come and go as they pleased? Compensate? As if they'd heard the funniest joke, the damage they caused to cars and houses was countless, and no one had ever dared demand compensation before. "Yes, my door is made of imported golden Nanmu, with carvings by a master craftsman, priced at $600,000. If you want to leave, pay for it first," Fang Jueyu said. "Also, causing trouble at my home early in the morning deserves compensation for mental distress, right? Let's round it up to $1 million. $400,000 for mental distress. Are you serious?" The three from the Gukeng sword sect laughed instead of getting angry, as if Fang Jueyu was telling them a joke. "Is it that funny?" Fang Juyu's eyes narrowed into slits, and when he showed this expression, it meant he was really angry. "Last time, some prince from the kingdom of Selat offended me, and I demanded billions in euros for mental distress. They didn't dare utter a word. "We want to leave. What can you do about it?" Gogh said. "If you want to call the police, go ahead. Let's see if they care about our matters from the martial world." "HMPH, if I say you can't leave, then none of you can." Fang Jueyu walked to the flower bed beside the villa and broke off a branch. In that instant, he seemed to transform into an unsheathed sharp sword. When a master made a move, it was clear if they had skill. Fang Jueyu's aura suddenly made the hair on the three men's bodies stand on end, as though standing before them was not a sleepily dressed youth in shorts, tank top, and flip-flops, but a fierce tiger. He also practices ancient martial arts. The thought appeared simultaneously in the three men's minds. By then, Fang Jueyu had ghostly appeared in their retreat path. His speed was so fast that even Gogh, a master of the Peak of Gangjin, couldn't capture it. Attack! They intended to give Fang Jueyu a scare, but never expected he wasn't an ordinary person. The previous sword didn't frighten him at all. Even if they returned next time, Fang Jueyu definitely wouldn't hand over the management fee willingly. In that case, using harsher means became necessary. Swish, swish. Two young disciples of the Gogh sword sect drew their swords and thrust at Fang Jueyu. Tusk too slow, full of loopholes. In Fang Jueyu's eyes, the signature skill of the Gogh sword sect was akin to child's play. Breaking sword technique. The branch in Fang Jueyu's hand jabbed like a sharp sword, hitting precisely on the hilts of the two longswords, and a surge of inner strength flooded into the blades. The two longswords flew out of their hands, with even the sound of wrists breaking. Smack, smack. The branch, like a wooden stick, thwacked against the chests of the two Gogh sword sect disciples, sending them flying. Such precise eyes! Gogh was utterly amazed. Their Gogh sword sect's swordsmanship was known for its strength and speed. Though the two disciples weren't highly skilled, they had been immersed in the technique for over a decade. Ordinary force-transform masters couldn't easily defeat them like this. That speed and precision of the moves were definitely at a level with him. A young Peak of Gangjin master in his early 20s was unprecedented even in their Gogh sword sect. Now he finally understood why Fang Jueyu seemed so confident. It turned out he had extraordinary skills. Becoming the world's richest man in his 20s, with such deep inner strength at the Peak of Gangjin, probably would make anyone arrogant and self-absorbed, wouldn't it? "Mr. Fang has impressive skills. No wonder you don't take our Gogh sword sect seriously." Gogh glanced at his two disciples. Fang Jueyu had shown restraint, otherwise, those blows could have easily broken a rib or two. Fang Jueyu raised an eyebrow. "Put you in my sight. Are you worthy?" Acts like this were essentially robbery, with little difference in essence. HMPH, this time we admit defeat. Having seen Fang Jueyu's skill, Gogh was also wary. He wasn't confident he could defeat Fang Jueyu completely. He couldn't fathom how many resources and how much effort it took to cultivate such a young master at the Peak of Gangjin. Perhaps only the masters who had long lingered on Gangjin or even innate masters in their sect could decisively defeat him. "Hey, do you not understand my words?" Fang Jueyu held out the branch horizontally. "You haven't paid for the door yet, nor compensated for the mental distress, and you want to leave now. Am I not respected here?" "Urguzi," Fang Jueyu shouted. "Woof, woof, woof." Hearing Fang Jueyu's call, Urguzi came running with bared teeth to his side. Now several months old, Urguzi was already as large as a full-grown golden retriever. As for its strength, even Fang Jueyu, who had reached the Peak of Gangjin, couldn't withstand one slap from it. "Urguzi, guard the door for me. If they don't pay, don't let any of them leave," Fang Jueyu said righteously. "Woof!" Urguzi barked ferociously at the three, exuding an imposing aura as if a single dog could guard against an army. "Do you really think I can't take you on?" Gogh, unaccustomed to such humiliation, finally drew his sword. Ever since becoming an elder, he hadn't truly fought in many years, but his swordsmanship was no longer what it used to be. "You're forcing me." Plain text. When Gogh grabbed the longsword, his entire demeanor suddenly changed, exuding a sharp aura. He had been practicing swordsmanship for over 30 years, far surpassing the mere decade or so these youngsters had. "Don't say I'm bullying the young with the old. Go pick up a sword from the ground." Gogh didn't strike immediately. He felt that if Fang Jueyu faced his sword with just a tree branch, winning wouldn't be honorable. One must admit, these people from ancient martial sects held their reputation in high regard. "No need. For someone of your meager strength, it doesn't matter whether I have a sword or not," Fang Jueyu said with immense confidence. Over the past few months, he had learned no fewer than 8 or 10 sword techniques. None of them were below the 7th level in martial arts ranking. With his strong comprehension skills, and under his teacher's training, every sword move had achieved incredible proficiency. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that his skill had reached the level of sword in heart without a sword in hand. Arrogant, the longsword in Gog's hand wasn't just any scrap metal. It was painstakingly forged by a master after many attempts and was sharp enough to slice through iron like mud. A cold glint shone, and Gog's steps swiftly approached Fang Jueyu. As expected, the Gogh sword technique was renowned for its speed. Even though Fang Jueyu possessed considerable strength, his experience in actual combat was limited. The ferocious moves forced him to retreat 3 steps. Gog's sword struck toward the vital points, while Fang Jueyu seemed exhausted from dodging. Yet gradually, he caught on to Gog's swordsmanship pattern and became increasingly agile. Since you're using such swift techniques against me, I'll respond with similar swordplay. Fang Jueyu suddenly shifted from defense to offense. The branch in his hand struck with the swiftness and precision of a serpent's fangs, exceptionally sharp, as if weaving a web of sword energy that forced Gogh to retreat step by step. What kind of sword technique is this? Gogh was startled. Fang Jueyu had been defending chaotically before, but in an instant it seemed like he'd become a different person, his swordplay even faster than the Gogh sword technique. Holy Spirit sword technique, Sword 8. Never seen it, have you? Fang Jueyu smiled slightly. Sword 8, how have I never heard of such a sword technique? Well, now you've seen it. Suddenly, the sword in Fang Jueyu's hand became ruthless and merciless, distinctly different from his previous moves. Sword 18. Damn, Master is being tangled up by this kid's sword technique. The 2 young disciples of the Gogh sword sect had never seen Gogh being forced into such a corner by a young man. Fang Jueyu's sword was so fast that they couldn't even see it clearly. They wouldn't last even 1 round if it were them. Help, Master! The 2 glanced at each other and picked up their swords again. However, at this moment, a pitch-black mangy dog blocked their way. Get out of the way! Ren Qi kicked out, but the dog easily dodged. They even detected a hint of disdain in its eyes. They were being looked down on by a dog. Anger flared within them, and they raised their swords, slashing at the dog. Woof! The dog launched at them with its hind legs, resembling a wild beast. Crack! The finely crafted steel longswords broke upon contact with the dog's fur. Damn, was this dog trained in the Golden Bell Shield? They had no idea this creature wasn't even a dog at all. In their moment of shock, the dog's paw struck them heavily on the chest. Was it really a paw? Even a bear's claw wouldn't possess such strength. They spat blood and flew backward, barely having the strength to stand. Ren Qi, rain voice. Gogh couldn't believe that his 2 direct disciples couldn't even handle a dog. My villa has surveillance. My Guzi was just defending itself. Don't try to frame me. Fang Jueyu distanced himself from Gogh, tossing over a fasting pill as a reward. This is a pill. Gogh, experienced and knowledgeable, immediately recognized what Fang Jueyu had thrown. In his lifetime, he'd never heard of anyone feeding a dog pills like these. No wonder this dog had indestructible fur and could defeat 2 hidden force peak humans. In their Gogh sword sect, not everyone had access to pills. Only the core members received a small quota each month, considering there were only 3 alchemists in the entire ancient martial alliance, and countless martial sects, too many monks and not enough porridge. This kid must have someone backing him. Gogh increasingly felt that this newly wealthy person was shrouded in mystery. Could he be a student trained by some reclusive master? Hey, are you going to pay up or not? If you don't, I'll personally come to your Gogh sword sect after the new year to demand it. Fang Jueyu said impatiently. Could such a large sect really not come up with a mere $1 million? You brat, do you really think I'm out of tricks? Gogh was almost cornered by Fang Jueyu. It should be known that the Gogh sword technique was just a basic swordsmanship in their Gogh sect. Every foundational member could learn it. However, with the Gogh sword technique, there were 3 powerful killer moves that only core disciples could learn, requiring force transform level to execute. Oh, about to unleash a trump card. Fang Jueyu's expression turned serious, realizing this was Gog's desperate technique. Kang's wave. Gog's sword lashed out like a flood dragon, the blade gleaming with concentrated sword energy, far stronger than the slash that Ren Qi had used to shatter the gate. Even Fang Jueyu felt stinging pain on his face. Kang's wave? More like Han's cloud for me. Fang Jueyu floated gracefully, with his biological current manifesting as a faint golden light around him. He was incredibly close to becoming an innate master, capable of barely manipulating a sliver of cosmic source power. Even just a sliver was an earth-shattering change. Even a move surpassing the advanced martial arts within the martial arts system, Fang Jueyu still managed to execute it with ease. Holy Spirit Sword Technique, Sword 23. A golden beam burst forth, and Gudong's sword energy appeared as fragile as paper before it. He even sensed that Fang Jueyu's move contained power surpassing innate masters. It was a martial skill that shattered the barrier of the 9th rank. Fang Jueyu's branch touched Gudong's throat, leaving only a hilt in Gudong's hand as the blade shattered into countless pieces on the ground. I'm a civilized person, so I don't kill indiscriminately. I've sealed your acupoints with inner strength. Don't expect to use any internal energy for 3 days. Fang Jueyu casually tossed the branch to the ground. Host, this guy doesn't have a penny on him, Zhaoyi informed Fang Jueyu. What? Fang Jueyu looked painfully at his shattered gate before dialing a number. Hello, security. I'm the owner of Villa Number 1. 3 unknown individuals came here wielding controlled knives. How are you managing things? Moments later, a group of security guards with batons stormed into Fang Jueyu's villa, only to find 3 oddly dressed people supporting each other, still holding controlled weapons. A cold sweat broke out. The resident of Villa Number 1 was the world's richest man now. If anything happened to him, the entire property and security company would be in hot water. We apologize, Mr. Fang. These people bypassed our surveillance. It was a failure in our management. Are you all right? Forget it, I'm fine. Just throw them out. Fang Jueyu waved his hand, not expecting the security team to handle people from the Gogh sword sect. By the way, after the new year, I'll personally go to your Gogh sword sect for compensation. Have the money ready, or I'll tear down your plaque. Fang Jueyu threw out a harsh word and walked into his house. What do you intend to do? The 3 from Gogh sword sect were injured. Now they couldn't even handle an ordinary street thug, let alone burly security guards. What the owner said, throw you out. Ouch. Acting like shamans, are you? I'm an elder of the Gogh sword sect. How dare you? Ouch. We'll beat you precisely for being that elder. Let's see if you dare next time. What on earth happened just now? I thought I heard someone banging on the door. Fang Jueyu had only been gone for about 10 minutes, and Guo Xinyu was still bleary-eyed. Just a group of so-called martial arts enthusiasts, like a social gang, coming to collect protection fees. Fang Jueyu lay back down. I beat them so hard they were picking up their teeth from the floor, then got the property security to kick them out. Ha ha ha, you're so bad. Guo Xinyu chuckled uncontrollably. It's quite the lasting blow for a group of high-end mighty ancient martial arts students to be swept out by regular people without a chance to fight back. Xinyu, you've been pretty diligent in attending the Super God Academy lately, haven't you? Learned a lot, I bet. Having had their slumber disturbed, neither of them felt sleepy anymore. Yeah, the teachers there are incredible. There's so much I've never heard of before. Lately, Guo Xinyu's inner strength had almost reached the force transform stage, and when she sang, she infused her inner strength into her voice, making it richer and more penetrating. Xinyu, those singing and instrument techniques are just the extras. What's most important is learning how to guide the potential within yourself. That's the foundation, got it? Yes, I got it. Guo Xinyu nodded. Not only had Fang Jueyu emphasized this many times, but even the teachers at school repeatedly told her. In that case, let's start with some morning exercise. Fang Jueyu grinned mischievously, flipping over onto her. Over an hour later, Fang Jueyu came out of the bathroom, freshly showered, just as Zhuang Ying walked into the villa with a letter in hand. She frowned. How could the villa door have been taken apart overnight? Could a thief have broken in last night? But with Gu Yi here, what kind of thief could get into Fang Jueyu's house? Young master, what happened here? Zhuang Ying asked. Oh, just a few crazies came to make trouble. Find someone to fix the door for me and replace it with a titanium alloy one that won't show a mark even if you chop it with a knife, Fang Jueyu said, pointing at the letter in her hand. What's that? Don't tell me it's someone else coming to collect protection fees. Protection fees? Zhuang Ying had no idea what Fang Jueyu was talking about. Young master, this is an invitation from an old gentleman named Bai Ruhai, inviting you to attend his 80th birthday celebration. Oh, so that's it. Scared me for a second. Fang Jueyu patted his chest. As long as he didn't have to deal with more crazies, that was fine. He took the invitation, which was for the 28th of the lunar year. Fang Jueyu and his group planned on going to Gogh place for the new year on the 30th, so he could make time for it. Are you planning to go, young master? If you decide to go, I'll immediately start preparing the itinerary and gifts for you, Zhuang Ying said. I'll go when an elder invites you personally. You've got to give them some respect, Fang Jueyu replied with a smile. But I can handle the gift preparation myself. All right, young master, I'll go make the arrangements. Off you go, Fang Jueyu nodded. Xinyu, why don't you come with me? Fang Jueyu turned to her. I mentioned before that this old Mr. Bai comes from an ancient martial family. I'll take you to see the hidden world beneath our society. Sure, since the studio work was finished, she might as well follow Fang Jueyu to broaden her horizons. I have to think carefully about what gift to prepare. Fang Jueyu knew well that these ancient martial families weren't short on money, so instead of giving something expensive, it was better to choose something meaningful. What's most important to these ancient martial families? It's nothing more than cultivation resources and martial arts skills. He wouldn't easily bring out the guiding technique, but giving some elixirs or slightly advanced martial arts skills was no big deal. Bai Ru had been stuck at the force transform level for a long time. Given his current situation, becoming a resilient expert in this lifetime would be challenging, but with some high-grade elixirs, it would be very simple. This will do. Fang Jueyu rummaged through the mountain of elixirs in his storage space, eventually pulling out a purple elixir and placing it inside an exquisite box. This should be more than enough. Bai Ruhai's birthday feast was held at the Bai family's grand residence. Having visited once before, Fang Jueyu was quite familiar with the place on his second visit. Although the Bai family wasn't considered top-tier among ancient martial families, leaning closer to the middle or lower in strength, most of the smaller families in this big circle got along quite well, making the event lively. Every ancient martial family had profound foundations, and the courtyard had practically turned into a luxury car show, filled with expensive cars, every person stepping out exuding extraordinary poise. Fang Jueyu glanced around. Nearly everyone present had some cultivation in ancient martial arts. Most of the young people in their early 20s were either in the Ming realm or had achieved dark strength, while only some middle-aged and older individuals seemed to have reached the force transform stage, with only a sparse few achieving the resilient level. Today, Baiyu dressed quite differently from usual, wearing a long dress for once. Thanks to years of martial arts, her figure was near perfect, making her exceptionally captivating today. She stood outside, not sparingly focusing on any guest but constantly seeking something or someone. Baiyu, long time no see. A handsome young man approached, greeting Baiyu. Even Master Qin is here. Baiyu was somewhat surprised. This Master Qin was named Qin Yun, from a remarkably powerful ancient martial family. The Qin family boasted an ancestor sitting at the innate realm. Qin Yun and Baiyu attended the same university. Qin Yun had been pursuing Baiyu, but she knew well, despite his exceptional talent, Qin Yun was overly frivolous, so she repeatedly kept her distance. Please go inside first, Master Qin. I'm here to greet some important guests. Baiyu, out of politeness, didn't show Qin Yun any attitude. Important guests? Qin Yun sneered, well aware of Bai family's position in the entire ancient martial world. Just his presence at Bai Ruhai's birthday already granted much face, so what could be more important than the Qin family? Just then, Baiyu's eyes lit up, spotting Fang Jueyu and Gogh Xinyu walking in her direction. Baiyu respectfully approached them. Principal Miss Gogh, you're finally here. Grandpa asked me to wait for you two here. Let me take you in. Didn't I say no calling me principal outside of school? Fang Jueyu said. Haha, it's a habit. Mr. Fang, Miss Gogh, please come in. Baiyu warmly invited them, completely ignoring Qin Yun. Isn't that the guy they recently announced as Huaxia's wealthiest? Qin Yun seemed also to recognize Fang Jueyu. In terms of status, being the world's richest man was nothing to scoff at, but in these ancient martial families and sects, ordinary people were perpetually just ordinary people. They could never climb above them. Money held no persuasion in the ancient martial world. Uncle Mo, can you discern that young man's level? This time, the Qin family had not only Qin Yun but also a man named Qin Mo, reaching the third level of resiliency. He was Qin Yun's father's younger brother, considered top tier in the Qin family. The inability to detect one's level left two possibilities. Either the individual's level was far superior, or he was simply an ordinary person. Qin Mo never imagined a young man in his 20s could surpass him. Qin Mo shook his head. I can't sense any inner strength from him. He should just be an ordinary person. Not bad, Bai Yu. You're already at half-step force transform. There probably isn't anyone in the Bai family more powerful than you now, is there? Fang Jueyu saw through Bai Yu's current level at a glance. Aside from her alchemy, Bai Yu also learned the Yue girl swordsmanship from heroine A Qing. In martial arts novels, a Qing defeated 3,000 Yue soldiers with just a bamboo stick, showing the formidable power of this swordsmanship, even surpassing Lonely Nine swords. With this swordsmanship, even someone at the peak of transformation realm may not be able to defeat her. All thanks to Mr. Fang for giving me this opportunity. Bai Yu knew very well where all her progress came from. Had it not been for Super God Academy teaching her more profound cultivation techniques, along with the supplementary pills Fang Jueyu provided, her advancement wouldn't have been so tremendous. Bai Yu led them into the inner hall, where Bai Ruhai was welcoming guests. Upon seeing Fang Jueyu, Bai Ruhai beamed with joy and hurried over. After taking that pill, not only was Bai Ruhai's ice abilities completely removed, but due to the characteristics of the red flame pill, his inner strength was imbued with a trace of pure yang energy, increasing its power by at least 20%. Grandpa Bai, you're looking well. It seems your injuries have healed nicely. Fang Jueyu handed his gift to Bai Ruhai, a small token of respect, wishing you prosperity as vast as the sea in winter and longevity outlasting the mountains. Ha ha ha, Mr. Fang, you are my lifesaver. Just having you at this birthday banquet is enough. This gift is too much, Bai Ruhai smiled, declining politely. Grandpa Bai, just call me Xiao Fang. I am not part of the martial world. Let's regard each other based on age. Fang Jueyu insisted while pushing the gift onto him. How can a birthday be without a gift? Why don't you check if it suits your taste? Oh, Bai Ruhai was suddenly very curious about the gift. He knew Fang Jueyu was now the richest man in Huaxia, and that there might be a powerful, mysterious teacher or force behind him. Whatever he brought out was unlikely to be simple. No need to mind the formalities, just open it. It's best to use it soon, otherwise others might be tempted, Fang Jueyu said mysteriously. Well, I would love to see it then. Bai Ruhai led them further into the hall. He patted the box gently and the fancy packaging opened, revealing 2 pills inside, one purple and one blue-gray. At that moment, a strong fragrance rushed into his nostrils, and even Bai Ruhai felt his inner strength on the verge of boiling over. For the mere scent of the pill to affect a peak of transformation realm experts' inner strength, it was undoubtedly a very high-grade pill, the kind even the few remaining alchemy masters in Huaxia might not be able to concoct. Mr. Fang, this is. Bai Ruhai unconsciously changed his way of addressing Fang Jueyu, finding it difficult to regard such a mysterious, powerful young man as his junior. Grandpa Bai, this blue pill is called the Gang Transformation Pill, a 5th-grade pill. When taken by a martial artist at the peak of transformation realm, it can naturally help them advance to a gang realm martial artist without any side effects. What? Bai Ruhai almost shouted, unable to control his emotions. A 5th-grade pill. Even the strongest alchemist in Huaxia is just a 4th-grade alchemist, and 5th-grade pills are rarely successful. When one appears, it is a major event, its value beyond monetary measurement. Bai Ruhai had been stuck at the peak of transformation realm for many years, seeking numerous methods to break through without success. 5th-grade pills are truly priceless. Now he understood why Fang Jueyu urged him to use it quickly, for such a pill at his birthday banquet would cause a huge stir, possibly even triggering a scramble. At that moment, he almost wanted to swallow the gang transformation pill right away. Mr. Fang and the other one. This is an innate pill, an 8th-grade pill. Swallowing it gives you an 80% chance of success when advancing to the innate realm. Innate pill, 80%. Bai Ruhai's lips began to tremble. 8th-grade pills are something no one in the world can currently make. Every innate master has taken at least a century of deep enlightenment to break through. Surpassing the innate realm breaks the human lifespan limit, granting at least 200 years. Breaking through to innate is every martial artist's dream. However, innate masters are rare in the Huaxia ancient martial world. Fang Jueyu gifting such a present was practically ensuring his promotion to the innate realm, a gift almost too great to accept. Mr. Fang, did you make these innate and gang transformation pills? Bai Ruhai asked tentatively, as Fang Jueyu crafting 8th-grade pills was utterly shocking. Oh, that wasn't me. Fang Jueyu shook his head, Haha, I became the world's richest man not mainly through my earnings. It's mostly what my elders left me, as with these pills, they were passed down from my ancestors, and I've got plenty more. Bai Ruhai froze, realizing Fang Jueyu was a mega-rich heir. But this heir seemingly had more than just money, a veritable treasure trove passed down by ancestors, these pills far outweighing any fortune. Mr. Fang, if I may ask, are your ancestors reclusive alchemy masters? No, no, my family has been in business for generations. Alchemy and such were just side research, projects some ancestors dabbled in out of boredom. Just a side project. Bai Yu next to him grimaced. The works of these masters, amassed over centuries, couldn't compare to Fang Juyu's casual ancestor-imposed studies. If word spread, alchemists might just jump into a lake in disappointment. Is this family full of aliens? Bai Yu suddenly looked at Fang Jueyu with an odd expression, trying to understand his abilities and the mysterious academy. Mr. Fang, your gift is too valuable. I fear I don't deserve it. Bai Ruhai understood the significance of these two pills, knowing that in the years to come, the Bai family would most likely have an innate master. Once a family gained an innate master, it elevated their status immensely, leading the entire Bai family to soar in the ancient martial arts world. All right, it's not like giving out red envelopes for New Year, no need for courtesy, Fang Jueyu laughed. While the pills seemed precious to them, to Fang Jueyu they were hardly significant. He could message his ancestor anytime and soon receive an express mega package. Let alone innate pills, he even had pills to break through to the heavenly human realm and beyond. Innate pills were nothing. Then I shall not refuse. Bai Ruhai quickly hugged the small box, as if afraid Fang Jueyu would change his mind. Ah, Grandpa only has this ambition, Bai Yu sighed. Having studied at the Super God Academy for a while, she knew this innate pill was hardly elite. Pills from 1st to 9th grade were just the lowest tier. Her teacher told her that in no more than 3 years, she would be capable of crafting 6th grade pills. Old Master Bai, there's still an hour or two before the banquet starts. Why don't you just take the gang transformation pill now? We can stand guard outside for you, Fang Jueyu said, amused at Bai Ruhai's anxious manner. Bai Ruhai felt a bit embarrassed, but he had heard from Bai Zun that Fang Juyu's strength could defeat even those at the peak of force transform in just a few moves. Having him as a protector was indeed quite safe. In that case, I shall excuse myself for a moment and come out later to entertain Mr. Fang, Bai Ruhai hurriedly said as he grabbed 2 pills and quickly headed to his room. Gogh, keep an eye on this place for the next hour. You don't need to worry about my safety. There's no one here who can harm me, Fang Jueyu said softly. Yes, young master, Gogh's voice whispered in Fang Juyu's ear. Ah, it will take quite some time to reach Gogh's level. Although Fang Juyu's current strength was comparable to an innate master, he still couldn't sense Gogh's presence, who constantly guarded him, showing there was a significant gap between them. Bai Yu, let's find a place to have some fun. No need to worry about your grandfather. I've already got someone watching over him. Naturally, Bai Yu trusted Fang Juyu's words. In that case, I'll take Mr. Fang and Miss Gogh to the martial arts arena. So many people are here today, it must be bustling there. The martial arts arena was a unique place for the Bai family, where the Bai family's children usually sparred and exchanged skills. Since today was Bai Ruhai's birthday banquet, numerous families brought their younger members to this event. It was also a good opportunity for communication and exchanges among the different families. At this time, the martial arts arena was surely ablaze with excitement. Sure enough, before they even reached the arena, a chorus of cheers and applause could already be heard coming from the distance. The elders loved their reputations and naturally wouldn't engage in matches in such a place. If they were to spar, there would be quite a complicated procedure. Only these young scions were free from such formalities. Quite interesting, Fang Jueyu remarked in a pretentious tone. The families here were mostly on par with the Bai family, so the young people's strength was evenly matched and the fights were relatively balanced. Do you want to give it a try? Gogh Xinyu asked with a smile. Me? Fang Jueyu chuckled. These people are mostly just at the hidden force middle stage. If I went, wouldn't that be bullying? Letting Xiaoyu go might be more appropriate. Even if Gogh Xinyu participated, with her current strength, she could easily take on 10 of them. Bai Yu, what a coincidence you're here too. Fang Jueyu turned at the sound and saw a rather handsome young man approaching briskly, who they had seen outside earlier. The fly is back again, Bai Yu muttered in annoyance. Master Qin Yun, why aren't you seated in the guest hall? How come you have the interest to watch them spar? Bai Yu said with a hint of sarcasm. With your strength, these people's skills must look unimpressive to you. Haha, just sitting around is too boring, so I thought I'd take a look around. Qin Yun evidently didn't catch the sarcasm in Bai Yu's words. This should be the world's newest richest man, Mr. Fang, right? Qin Yun initiated a greeting with Fang Jueyu. I am Qin Yun from the Qin family. Pleasure to meet you. Mr. Qin has heard of me. Haha, of course, a title like the world's richest man reaches even those who rarely leave home, Qin Yun said. I wonder if Mr. Fang has paid the management fee this year. Our Qin family holds some sway in the Martial Artists Association. If Mr. Fang has any cash flow issues, I can help negotiate a bit. So he's here to flaunt his family background, Fang Jueyu thought with a slight smile. Such little schemes couldn't fool him. Are you referring to those people from the Gogh sword sect? They came to my house a few days ago. Oh, so Mr. Fang has already paid the management fee. Qin Yun laughed. It seems Mr. Fang is a wise man. Actually, no. I had the property management kick them out, Fang Jueyu replied. I earn my money through hard work without stealing or robbing, so why should I randomly fork over 30%? Qin Yun was stunned. He had clearly not expected that answer from Fang Jueyu. He thought Fang Jueyu was merely bluffing out of pride. The Gogh sword sect was a major sect, and although his Qin family also had innate masters, the nationwide spread of the Gogh sword sect's disciples meant their overall strength surpassed that of the Qin family by quite a margin. The people sent to collect management fees wouldn't be weak either. Being kicked out by property management, who could believe such talk? Did they think their cultivation was just for show? Mr. Fang is quite the joker. Speaking like this in private isn't an issue, but if someone from the Ancient Martial Association were to hear, that could cause serious trouble, Qin Yun said. I would say the same thing, even if they were here. Fang Jueyu didn't regard the Ancient Martial Association at all. If he knew where this association was, he might even pay them a visit. After all, someone ought to compensate for his broken gate. Those Gogh sword sect people were too weak. I beat them all up before having the security toss them out. They were probably too embarrassed to mention it, which is why you don't know. How is that possible? Why not? Bai Yu, unable to stand it any longer, chimed in. What makes you think you know Mr. Fang's true strength? SHH, Fang Jueyu raised a finger. Bai Yu, what did I tell you? Be low-key. Ha ha ha, Qin Yun laughed even harder. His uncle had just told him that Fang Jueyu was nothing but an ordinary person dealing with 3 Gogh sword sect experts. Did they think the Gogh sword sect consisted of muggles? It seems Mr. Fang has impressive skills. Qin Yun was evidently displeased by Bai Yu's warm attitude toward Fang Jueyu and wouldn't miss any chance to embarrass him. Would Mr. Fang indulge me in a couple of moves? Exchanging moves with me? Are you sure? Fang Jueyu asked with an amused smile. Did he really look like an easy target? Qin Yun, you're not qualified to spar with Mr. Fang. If you want to play, I can entertain you with a few moves, Bai Yu volunteered. A flicker of irritation crossed Qin Yun's face. He really couldn't understand why Bai Yu was so attentive to a young man without any inner strength. Was it just because he was the world's richest man? But Bai Yu should know that for people from ancient martial families, money meant nothing. Bai Yu, you're only at the hidden force initial stage. If we sparred, I might hurt you. Qin Yun was already a half step into force transform, and Bai Yu couldn't withstand even one move from him. Is that so? I'd like to see who really gets hurt. Bai Yu channeled her biological current with all her might, her half-step force transform cultivation stunning Qin Yun. Qin Yun was naturally gifted, and only reached half-step force transform at age 25 due to extensive family resources, but entering force transform would take another 5 years. Yet Bai Yu's aura seemed even more robust and pure compared to his. If he remembered correctly, the last time he saw Bai Yu at school, she was only at hidden force stage 2. What could have happened in these few short months? Bai Yu gently tapped the ground with her foot, landing gracefully on an empty stage as light as a swallow. This level of Qinggong skill was challenging even for typical force transform experts. Such profound Qinggong. The elders of the families, although not sparring in the arena, accompanied their juniors to observe alongside. Bai Yu's body was incredibly light. When did the Bai family develop such exquisite Qinggong techniques? So it's ladder cloud jump. Fang Jueyu suddenly recalled an online joke. As long as you step on your left foot with your right foot and your right foot with your left, you can send someone to the skies. Ordinary people naturally saw this as a joke, but for those with inner strength, it was entirely achievable. "Young Master Qin, you wouldn't be afraid to spar with me, would you?" Baiyu taunted. "HMPH, would I be afraid of you?" At this moment, he had no choice but to go onto the stage, or wouldn't it indicate that Qin Yun was afraid of Baiyu? Not to mention pursuing Baiyu in the future, he wouldn't even be able to show his face among the ancient martial families. But Qin Yun didn't believe he would lose to Baiyu. Although both had half-step force transform expertise, the Qin family's boxing was exceedingly profound. As the eldest grandson of the main line, Qin Yun had already achieved a minor accomplishment in Qin family boxing. Even ordinary force transform experts could be resisted. Qin Yun leapt onto the stage and landed in front of Baiyu, but the moment he landed, a cloud of dust rose from the ground. This showcased, regardless of their strength, Baiyu had already won in terms of body movement. The duel between Baiyu and Qin Yun quickly attracted a crowd. One was the young master of the Qin family, a large family with an innate master, and the other was the eldest granddaughter of today's birthday star, Bai Ruhai. It was a rare spectacle. Who do you think will win? That's a given, of course, it's young Master Qin. He has reached half-step force transform strength at 25, and perhaps before 30 he could become a force transform expert. Compared to him, Miss Bai is quite lacking. Haha, I wouldn't be so sure. I heard young Master Qin has always had a liking for the Bai family's lady. He might go easy on her. That's reasonable, brother. You surely keep up with the news. Do you think your little apprentice can win? Guo Xinyu was a bit worried as Qin Yun appeared to be bursting with strength, seemingly a challenging opponent. Don't worry, even real force transform experts may not be a match for Baiyu. The Super God Academy my dad gave me would never produce weaklings. Fang Jueyu wasn't worried about the outcome of this contest at all. The only suspense was how many cards Qin Yun could force Baiyu to play. "Baiyu, you can strike first." Qin Yun presented himself with a rather magnanimous posture. Qin family boxing was renowned for its vigorous and thick style. Under substantial defensive capability, its fist force was also exceedingly fierce. Once it reached minor accomplishment, even an iron door could easily be imprinted with several inches deep punch marks. Ordinary martial artists of the same level would suffer internal injuries if hit solidly by a few punches. Judging Baiyu's physique, she might not even withstand a single punch, right? Then I won't hold back. Although Baiyu excelled in swordsmanship, nothing was unteachable at the Super God Academy, and she had some training in boxing as well. Since the Qin family is renowned for boxing, I'll spar with young Master Qin using boxing. Baiyu struck a rather exaggerated and odd pose. In the eyes of those who trained, this stance already exposed its flaws, and why did it appear somewhat silly? But soon they realized they were wrong. Qin Yun's first punch was only at 60% strength, but Baiyu not only did not dodge to retaliate, she actually went forward to meet Qin Yun's fist. Was she trying to lose her fist? Not right, she's also half-step force transform. At this moment, many older martial artists finally realized Baiyu's true strength. Their gazes changed instantly. How could the Bai family's heritage produce such a young half-step force transform master? Whoosh! Baiyu's snow-white fist directly confronted Qin Yun's large fist. So fast, Qin Yun actually found he couldn't see Baiyu's punching speed, barely capturing some blurred shadows. Bang! Their fists collided. The inner strength collision created a formidable shockwave that blew the dust-covered arena completely clean. Qin Yun's face changed. Baiyu's punch strength was indistinguishable from his. Moreover, this punch carried a strand of perceived inner strength. The veins in his right fist felt like they were spreading from being stretched, causing intense pain. Baiyu, utterly calm, continued to punch, her speed astonishingly fast, to the extent that only a minority of force-transform visionaries on site could barely perceive her punches. Qin Yun, under such punch speed, had no chance to retaliate and could only cross his arms in front of himself to forcibly defend. This isn't really a boxing technique, it's basically suppressing Qin Yun with speed. A silent tally revealed that Baiyu's speed surpassed 20 punches per second, while ensuring each punch's power remained. How was this possible? Even Li Xiaolong couldn't do it. In less than 10 seconds, Baiyu had already thrown hundreds of punches. At this moment, Qin Yun's arms were numb, and even the veins within his arms had started to crack. Whoosh! This punch Qin Yun didn't take head-on. A couple more punches like that and his hand might be wasted. Even if the rolling posture was unsightly in such circumstances, that was the only way to reluctantly dodge. Bang! A visible ripple of air directly shot towards another young martial artist nearby. It's over. That martial artist was only at the second level of Anjin. How could he withstand that fist force? Back off! His elder immediately flashed in front and blocked that punch. Clap! He retreated 3 steps to dispel the punch's force. He was a first-level force-transformed martial artist. What kind of boxing technique had such power at such rapid speed? No more, no more. Qin Yun, knowing when to stop, lamented. The speed of the world's martial arts couldn't be shattered, but this punch speed he could barely defend, let alone retaliate. Is that it? Bai Yu calmed her inner strength. With my boxing technique, I could throw over 100 punches in a second. 100 punches in a second. Qin Yun's mouth twitched. Even an innate master couldn't withstand that. What kind of boxing technique is this? Heavenly Pegasus Meteor Fist. Instantly, countless question marks floated above everyone's heads. Who wouldn't recognize this boxing technique? Anyone who watched anime would, but did such a boxing technique exist in this world? Ha ha ha, all of you are stunned, aren't you? Fang Jueyu couldn't help but laugh. Never mind the Heavenly Pegasus Meteor Fist. Even Lu Mountain Rising Dragon Dominance can be executed if there's robust biological current and cosmic source power. Bai Yu, this isn't a Bai family technique, is it? Of course not, it's all taught by my master, Bai Yu said. Your master? Which great master? Could you introduce me to him? Hearing of such a reclusive master, Qin Yun's eyes instantly lit with eager desire. Are you looking for her master? A surprisingly young voice rang from below the stage. That would be me. You? Qin Yun glanced at Fang Jueyu. There wasn't a trace of inner strength energy on him. He seemed just like an ordinary person. Don't believe it. Forget it. Originally planned to teach you some moves, seeing your silliness. Now, unless you eat instant noodles upside down, don't even think about it. Uncle Mo, could you please test the skills of that world's richest man for me? Fang Jueyu's words, completely disregarding Qin Yun, left the silver-spooned young master a bit irked, as he thought Bai Yu was merely trying to defend Fang Jueyu. Qin Yun, this is the Bai family, don't go too far. When Bai Yu heard that Qin Yun wanted to make a move on Fang Jueyu, her face immediately darkened. Although initially pledging to become a follower of Fang Jueyu wasn't done wholeheartedly, rather for the sake of her family. Having witnessed Fang Jueyu's extraordinary methods, she had begun to develop a subtle sense of admiration. Though she was well aware that even if a master from the Qin family were to personally take action, they might not necessarily win against Fang Jueyu. But this was about attitude. She, Bai Yu, was Fang Jueyu's staunchest supporter. Master, should I step in? Guya's voice drifted in quietly. Step in for what? If you step in, what fun is there? Haven't you experienced the thrill of playing the fool before revealing your true strength? You can't even imagine the joy of showing off. Fang Jueyu grumbled internally. Keep a good eye on Bai Ruhai, make sure nothing happens to him. Understood, master. Guya's voice carried a trace of grievance and resentment. He was just trying to show some loyalty after all. Bai Yu, step back. This guy's a resilient fighter, you can't block him. I'll handle him for fun, Fang Jueyu said. A mere martial artist at the 3rd stage was nothing to Fang Jueyu. Now even Guo Xinyu could toy with him. He wasn't just a world tycoon, his wealth transcended mere money. Mr. Fang, I am Qin Mo from the Qin family. I just heard that Mr. Fang possesses extraordinary skills. I, Qin Mo, am not as talented, but I'd like to learn a few moves. As Qin Mo appeared, everyone instinctively took a few steps back. Qin Mo was incomparable to Qin Yun, a half-step force-transformed martial artist. His mastery of the Qin family boxing was unparalleled, having bested many formidable fighters. He held a high status in the Qin family as well. Come on then. Fang Jueyu released Guo Xinyu's hand. Sit on the side for a while, I'll play with him. Guo Xinyu nodded. From Fang Jueyu's expression, she could tell he didn't see Qin Mo as a real opponent at all. Clang, all of a sudden, a pair of specially made metal boxing gloves appeared on Qin Mo's fists. The gloves collided, emitting a deep, muffled sound. Mr. Fang, use any weapon you like. Weapon? Fang Jueyu's eyes darted around, and then he shouted towards the sky, Gu Yi, bring me that box from the car. Who's he calling? Could it be he has some secret weapon? It's hard to say. Since Miss Bai said her skills were taught by Mr. Fang, maybe he's really a master hiding his true abilities. Master, I've brought the item you requested. In less than 10 seconds, Gogh appeared in front of Fang Jueyu with a metal box. Who is this? How is it possible? No one actually saw how Gogh appeared there. With such speed, this mysterious man could probably wipe them all out in an instant without much difficulty. All right, off you go and be discreet. Don't scare the kids on your way out. Fang Jueyu patted Gogh's shoulder. Yes, master. Gogh slowly floated off the ground, then drifted towards Bai Ruhai's room. Flying. My God, what did I just witness? This person is a master of the mythical realm. How can this be? Is there really someone of the mythical realm in this world? In the ancient martial world, an innate martial artist was already considered a high-ranking figure. The heavenly human realm was nearly the apex of combat power within the ancient martial world. Publicly, there had never been any mention of any family or clan having a master of the divinity transformation realm. As for the mythical realm, that's a legendary status, with its very existence being a mystery. But according to ancient tales passed down, masters of the mythical realm had the ability to fly, and now they had seen it with their own eyes. Wait a minute, what did that mythical realm person call him just now? Suddenly, someone thought of this question. It seemed like young master. Did I hear that wrong? You probably didn't. I heard him say young master too. Being addressed as young master by someone from the mythical realm, who exactly was Fang Jueyu? Could he really be just a wealthy tycoon? If it was hard to believe before, now they all accepted that Bai Yu's skills were indeed taught by Fang Jueyu. Even a mythical realm master appeared to be his house servant. How terrifying could the force behind him really be? Qin Mo was trembling slightly. He didn't dare make a move. If he won against Fang Jueyu, would a mythical realm expert let him off? But more likely, this young man's strength surpassed his own because he couldn't gauge Fang Jueyu's depth at all. Damn, I told you to be discreet, but you're still so flamboyant. Fang Jueyu couldn't help but slap his own forehead. Now he seriously suspected whether Gogh was just plain dumb. Couldn't you have left slowly, like on foot or something? Was it essential for everyone to see you flying? You scared everyone, messing with my chance to show off. Don't worry, our sparring is our business. You don't have to worry about what will happen if you win or injure me. Come on. Fang Jueyu gestured at Qin Mo. But Qin Mo still didn't dare move. He was so frightened that he was slightly trembling all over. Fine, if you don't start, then I will. Fang Jueyu snapped the box open. Everyone strained their necks to see what was inside Fang Jueyu's box, but when they saw, they were dumbfounded. It wasn't any mysterious weapon. The box was packed with stacks of red Mao Zedong bills. What's he planning to do? Work someone to death with money? Someone couldn't help but burst into laughter. You're right. I'm actually going to throw money at him. Fang Jueyu pinched his finger and took out a stack of money from the box, extracting a crisp, new bill. Flower-picking finger, a biological current, condensed visibly to the naked eye, gathered from Fang Jueyu's fingertip onto the bill. The formerly soft RMB bill suddenly became tougher than steel. Swish, the red Mao Zedong shot out from his hand, faster than a bullet toward Qin Mo. Zing, a dazzling spark flashed, and Qin Mo's armguard was ripped apart by the single RMB. The bill then pierced 3 trees as thick as 2 arms hugging and deeply embedded itself in the courtyard wall. Swish, a second bill sliced toward another of his armguards. A stack of RMB grew thinner in his hand, but each bill managed to slice off a piece of fabric from Qin Mo by the time Fang Jueyu finished all the bills in his hand. Qin Mo was left bare-chested. Too incredible. If Fang Jueyu had the intent to kill, Qin Mo would have died long ago. With that speed, even a strong force fighter would have no chance to retaliate. The most terrifying thing was Fang Jueyu's inner strength was so refined. He managed to strip Qin Mo's clothes without injuring him at all. It was terrifying indeed. Qin Mo was so frightened he didn't dare move at all. From Fang Jueyu, he perceived the overwhelming pressure only an innate strongman could exert. Wow, doesn't your Qin family count as a big clan? How come you can't even afford a decent set of clothes? Fang Jueyu sighed and shook his head, flinging the remaining box of money at him. Don't say I'm stingy. Take it to buy yourself a set of clothes. Don't ask me why. Having money indeed allows you to do as you wish. Rich, powerful, mysterious. These 3 words immediately became synonymous with Fang Jueyu. The appearance of a mythical realm expert left their hearts unsettled for a long time. Mr. Fang, that person just now. Bai Yu also saw Gogh for the first time. She knew that the teachers in the Super God Academy were all far above the innate level, but it seemed they couldn't leave the school. Was Gogh an exception? "Oh, that's just a big dummy, the one with the lowest IQ among my bodyguards," Fang Jueyu said. Cold sweat beaded on Bai Yu's forehead. Who else would dare to say such a thing about a super expert in the mythical realm but Fang Jueyu? "Let's go, there's nothing interesting here. Let's go eat something. Your grandpa should almost be done breaking through." Fang Jueyu turned to leave with Guo Xinyu. "Wait, Mr. Fang." A figure suddenly rushed in front of Fang Jueyu. Qin Yun somehow got hold of a bowl of Kang Shifu braised beef noodles, and it was still steaming hot. He carefully placed the bowl on the ground, and then, to everyone's astonishment, did a handstand and began slurping up the noodles. Bai Yu and Guo Xinyu couldn't hold it in and burst out laughing. "Damn, this guy is really something." Fang Juyu's face twitched. If Wang Kong were half as shameless, he might have already done many bizarre things by now. Slurp, slurp. In a few gulps, Qin Yun finished the bowl of instant noodles, wiped the soup from the corner of his mouth, and ran gleefully to Fang Jueyu. "Mr. Fang, you said it yourself. If I did a handstand while eating noodles, you'd teach me martial arts." Qin Yun didn't mind the stares of the other family members around him, dismissing them as short-sighted. Having a mythical realm expert as a house servant, could Fang Jueyu's background be simple? At just 20, using a few yuan, he could defeat Qin Mo of third-level strength mastery. Such strength was second only to their family's ancestor. Even kneeling to worship as a disciple, he wouldn't lose anything. Who knows, following Fang Jueyu might allow him to achieve something he might not accomplish in his entire life. What's wrong with acting a little foolish? This guy is even more of a dummy than Gogh. Fang Jueyu was speechless. But since he had already said it, he couldn't go back on his word. Besides, Qin Yun had a good character, was just a bit lustful and proud. The Super God Academy had teachers like Confucius to instill virtues. It shouldn't be too hard to change him. "All right," Fang Jueyu nodded and tossed a school badge to Qin Yun. "Meet me at Antian Peak outside Jiangnan City at 8 tomorrow morning. Don't be late." "Yes," Qin Yun beamed and knelt on the ground. Disciple Qin Yun bows to master. "Enough, I don't like this kind of thing." Fang Jueyu moved his fingertip, and a burst of inner strength lifted Qin Yun from the ground. "You're interesting, I think highly of you. By the way, you all didn't see anything just now, right?" Fang Jueyu suddenly stopped and asked everyone behind him. "Huh, what happened just now? And what's wrong, did I miss something?" "Hey, Brother Wang, weren't we just having a sparring match? Let's continue." Yes, let's continue sparring." "Smart people," Fang Jueyu nodded in satisfaction. "Mr. Fang, are you really going to take Qin Yun in?" Bai Yu seemed a bit displeased. She had just surpassed Qin Yun, and if both studied at the Super God Academy, she'd lose her advantage. Qin Yun might even overtake her. "Why not?" Fang Jueyu laughed. "Qin Yun has a good heart, and the Super God Academy needs to expand. People from ancient martial families have a strong capability to adapt, so they're quite suitable. If your family has talented and good-natured individuals, you can recommend them to me too." "Really?" Bai Yu immediately discarded her previous displeasure. This news was a huge boon for the Bai family. "Of course," Fang Jueyu nodded. "Oh, it looks like your grandpa has completed his breakthrough. Let's go see." Bai Ru had been at the peak of transformation realm for a long time. With the help of elixirs, the breakthrough was smooth as water. Not only that, the dense elixir energy raised him several levels up to 4th level strength mastery. "Ha ha ha," Bai Ruhai emerged from his room in high spirits. His breakthrough aura had drawn much attention, and many were already waiting outside his door. "Congratulations, old Mr. Bai. Today is your 80th birthday, and you've also broken through to strength mastery. It's truly a double blessing." "Indeed, old Mr. Bai, I congratulate you on behalf of our family head." "Senior Bai, I congratulate you on behalf of my grandfather." "Ha ha ha, thank you all." Bai Ruhai's breakthrough in strength mastery significantly elevated the Bai family's status among the ancient martial families, ensuring their prosperity for decades. "Old Mr. Bai, congratulations." Fang Jueyu also stepped forward to express his congratulations. "It's all thanks to Mr. Fang's miraculous elixirs." Bai Ruhai almost wanted to lift Fang Jueyu up and spin him around. If Fang Jueyu wasn't already taken, he might have thought to marry Bai Yu to him. Bai Yu's face reddened as she sensed her grandfather's thoughts. "All right, it's about time. Let's eat." Bai Ruhai escorted Fang Jueyu to the main seat. Thanks to Fang Juyu's warning, the incident at the martial arts arena didn't spread. However, those who witnessed it weren't surprised. Fang Jueyu gracing Bai Ruhai's birthday banquet was already a huge honor. Spread the word. If you see that young man, stay out of his way. Even if you can't befriend him, don't offend him. Also, avoid troubling the Bai family. Similar messages spread quickly from top to bottom, cementing a formidable reputation for the Bai family due to Fang Jueyu, unwittingly creating an awe-inspiring backdrop. The banquet lasted several hours, ending deep into the night. In high spirits, Fang Jueyu drank quite a bit, eventually letting Gu Xinyu drive them back. Oh, I should have learned the six-pulse divine sword, then I wouldn't fear getting drunk. Fang Jueyu sobered up a bit after meditating at home. Master, Huaxia's Skynet has a problem. Just as Fang Jueyu was about to take a bath and sleep, Zhao Yi suddenly informed him of the issue. Skynet, Huaxia's independently developed super firewall, was designed to protect vital data. Many of Huaxia's major scientific achievements were safeguarded by it. Skynet was built by gathering Huaxia's top computing talents. Over the years, it endured numerous information attacks and bombardments without being breached. For the past hour, a massive number of hackers have been attacking Huaxia's Skynet. These hackers come from various countries and organizations, and the scale is more than 100 times larger than the biggest previous attack. It may not hold. What's going on? Fang Jueyu frowned. What could drive these hackers so mad? Of course, it's the VR technology you handed over to Huaxia. Ever since Fang Jueyu handed over the VR technology to the government, the Huaxia top brass immediately used it as a foundation to build a large-scale military simulation system. With the server and supercomputer provided by Fang Jueyu, the most troublesome funding and hardware issues were directly resolved. The military personnel only needed to construct the virtual world of this simulation system to put it into use. With this system, Huaxia's military capability could make rapid advancements in a short period of time, and the combat skills and practical experience of the soldiers would inevitably reach the top tier globally. In less than 2 months, this system was put into use. A soldier was not simply defined by 2 words, but only a true iron-blooded man could be worthy of it. To enhance realism in this system, all senses were heightened to the maximum. Relying on this system, batch after batch of Special Forces soldiers were continuously produced like on a conveyor belt. They hadn't experienced real combat and warfare, but their combat experience and ability to react in emergencies were almost indistinguishable from those who had. But news of this leaked out. When Teng Zun announced this technology, many foresighted countries were already mentally prepared, understanding it didn't just affect the internet market alone, but could influence the entire world order. However, they hadn't expected Huaxia's speed to be so fast. If this development went unchecked, Huaxia's military power would immediately rise to first in the world, surpassing countries like the Sun Country and the United States one by one. At the normal development speed of those countries, this technology might not see the light of day within 10 years. If nothing was done, in less than 10 years, Huaxia would undoubtedly reign supreme in the East. A large group of countries quickly came to an agreement and immediately gathered their domestic network talents to launch a fierce attack on Huaxia's Skynet. No matter what, they must obtain the core data of that VR technology. Hold on, we must hold on. At the headquarters of Huaxia's Skynet, a large group of elites were working hard to fend off the attacks from those hackers. Reinforcements are here, a technician shouted. Defending Skynet was not only the military's business, but the business of all Huaxia. From the very beginning of Skynet's creation, the designers developed a system that allowed civilian experts to join through special channels if an attack occurred. More and more network experts received the message and joined the efforts to protect Skynet. The momentum of the attack finally stabilized a little. However, this remained just a drop in the bucket, with as many as a dozen countries involved in this action. Their methods were exceptionally clever, with traced IP addresses spread almost all over the world, making it impossible for Skynet staff to pinpoint exactly which countries were involved. Zhao Yi, check for me. Fang Jueyu's tone was icy as he was enraged. Moments later, Zhao Yi had the answer. Host, there are a total of 12 countries and they are all developed countries. While these countries are quite bold, what is this, the 12-nation alliance? Fang Jueyu chuckled. Zhao Yi, help me take them down hard. Yes, host. Fang Jueyu opened his computer and effortlessly joined the Skynet defenses. By this time, many defense loopholes had already appeared in Skynet. The staff were busy patching these loopholes while also protecting the intact areas, and manpower was becoming increasingly scarce. At this rate, they could hold out for at most another 20 minutes. Brothers, thank you for your hard work. Leave the rest to me. In front of all the Skynet staff and the Huaxia civilian experts involved in the protection efforts, a line of red text appeared on their computers with a signature, CN. Damn, my computer's been hacked. Crap, mine too. But it seems like the other side isn't causing any damage, just passing on a message. Have you heard of CN? No idea, but with such skills, they shouldn't be unknown. Never mind, it looks like Skynet has been saved. The forum jointly protecting Skynet suddenly erupted in excitement. Boss, someone intervened and has even revoked our permissions. What? The internal permissions of Skynet have also been revoked. The head of Skynet trembled all over. If the other side wanted to steal Huaxia's secrets, it would be as easy as taking something out of a bag. Can we retrieve the permissions? No, all our permissions are lost. Skynet isn't in our hands anymore. The technicians were bewildered. Having done tech work their entire life, it was the first time they'd encountered something like this. What kind of computational power and technology would it take to accomplish this? Boss, all the vulnerabilities are repaired. What, so fast? That's right, and CN has started counterattacking. CN. China, yes, this is our country's person. Damn, so strong, repelling a coalition attack from over a dozen countries. Is this an organization or an individual? These experts could only watch helplessly as CN single-handedly slaughtered, as the data flooding and network spamming disappeared without even touching Skynet's firewall. Ha, luckily I have a supercomputer. Otherwise, Jueyu would have to hijack countless zombies to operate. Fang Jueyu relished watching this epic battle. At such a scale of cyber warfare, he could only be a spectator. Jueyu, it's about time we gave them a taste of their own medicine, right? There's a Huaxia saying, reciprocity. Let's show them some color too. Although these people hadn't gained anything, Fang Jueyu wouldn't let them off easily either. Leave it to me, host, Jueyu replied. Simultaneously, in the secret information bases of the 12 countries, a large group of powerful hackers were already starting to falter. This person named CN was terrifying. They didn't know what code was being used, but somehow a defensive net formed in front of Skynet impenetrably, making their attacks seem like mere scratching. Batch after batch of hijacked zombies were paralyzed, forcing them to repeatedly switch, but it was all futile in the end. Damn it, our system has been breached. What? How could they track our address? I don't know. Hold the line, we must hold it. If our information gets compromised, all our national data will. It's over. A group of hackers smashed their keyboards and mice. Our firewall has been breached, and it only took them 3 seconds. What? Already breached? The responsible party's face turned ashen. Such scenes were occurring in the information security departments of the other 11 countries. Their national defenses, crafted with their entire country's resources, were as fragile as paper against the opponent's assault. Countless information leaks, countless data stolen. It was destined that the world would be in chaos the next day. Quick, cut the physical connection, the ones in charge immediately commanded. Although cutting the physical connection would cause considerable loss, potentially leading to a lot of data missing, at least it would ensure that the confidential information wouldn't leak. After all, some secrets of many countries couldn't be exposed to the light of day. It's too late. The members responsible for the technology showed a bitter smile. The other party breached their firewall in just 3 seconds and stole all the data in only 2. They had no time to react at all. An attack this swift and powerful was almost inconceivable in their understanding. What kind of computation was needed for this, and how terrifying were the operations? Could this be done by a human? If it were not for this person operating under the name of Huaxia, they would even have suspected it was the work of aliens. The data had been stolen. Should they reason with the Huaxia people? Firstly, they were the ones to initiate the attack on Huaxia. The Huaxia people were merely defending and retaliating. Could you attack Huaxia's Skynet but not allow the Huaxia people to retaliate? Even if this were taken to the international court, they would be in the wrong. Boss, come quickly and see. A technician pointed at the computer and said. On everyone's computer was a set of large red characters. Whoever offends Huaxia shall be punished, no matter how far away. These words echoed in everyone's minds like an ancient bell. They smiled bitterly. Huaxia was no longer that country that could be bullied. This nation had an abundance of talents, experts in droves, and lacked for nothing in any field. Even if 12 developed countries teamed up, they wouldn't gain the upper hand. To provoke this already awakened lion was to play with fire and get burned. Sigh, how boring is that it? Fang Jueyu tossed aside his keyboard and mouse and leaned back in his seat. He initially thought he would witness a spectacular cyber war, but he really didn't know whether to call the opponent too weak or Zhao too strong. Breaking into 12 countries, core databases, and stealing vast amounts of data in just 5 seconds, those people must already be regretting their actions with bitter tears, right? Zhao, help me sift through and see if there's anything interesting. This commotion got Fang Jueyu so fired up that he almost felt no drowsiness at all. Ha 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 ha, host, there's plenty of interesting stuff. Should some of these materials get out, those countries would face a barrage of international criticism. What, let me see. Design diagrams for a fifth-generation fighter of a certain North American developed country. What junk? The design my chief received last time was 10 times better than this. Core technologies for high-end chip design and development. Ha ha ha, this is useful. Soon, the whole world will be able to produce high-end chips, and I won't have to worry about Huaxia's chip industry. Critical technology for human potential development from a certain country. Dependent on drugs, what trash. I alone could take on 100 of them. Oh my, so the alien dissection experiment from 50 years ago was real. Oh right, I already knew there were aliens. Yuck, private photos of a certain country's leader. Fang Jueyu showed a look of disgust and disdain on his face. To think this leader actually had such unusual hobbies, it matched up perfectly with one of his ancestors. Faced with a heap of materials, Fang Jueyu's eyes almost blurred. Zhao tomorrow, help me set up a forum, use the ID CN to send the link to major Huaxia online forums, and come up with a catchy name. Okay, no big deal. Perhaps from hanging around Fang Jueyu for too long, Zhao had also developed a taste for the mischievous. Doing such tasks had a unique thrill to it. Early the next morning, the fog of yesterday's war hadn't yet dispersed when forums everywhere began exchanging discussions about yesterday's battle, especially about the godly figure known as CN, who single-handedly repelled the coalition's attack on Skynet. This was truly a legendary battle. Not only that, based on information from inside Skynet, last night CN even took the highest authority of Skynet, while the Skynet members could only watch, unable to engage whatsoever. As for investigating CN's personal information, almost no one dared to try such a thing. Couldn't they see that even such terrifying data bombardment was resisted single-handedly by CN? If he got angry, could your information defenses be as strong as Skynet? Hello everyone, I'm CN. Yesterday, I retaliated against the organizations attacking Skynet and discovered a lot of interesting things. Today, I'll share some with everyone. A brand new post suddenly appeared on the homepage of major forums. Initially, everyone thought this was a phishing site impersonating CN. Usually, such posts wouldn't last long before being deleted by administrators or buried. Hey, another post impersonating CN, hurry and delete it. Don't disgrace C-God's name, the forum administrators communicated. Okay, I'll delete it right away. Damn it, I can't delete it. My admin permissions are frozen, you try it. I mine too, the two looked at each other. To become administrators of these geek forums, they themselves were experts too, silently being stripped of their admin privileges. Who else but CN could achieve that? This post was genuinely from CN. Quickly, this news spread, and everyone couldn't wait to see what trophies CN had gathered from their exploits last night. Damn the great Mr. God, ha was C-God a devil, came up with such an indecent and violent forum name ha. True to the name of a great deity, even the name is so captivating, everyone come and check it out. Holy crap, artificial intelligence core technology, nuclear submarine technology. Damn it, even human body transformation technology. Are these people human? They're actually conducting experiments on real humans, and the test subjects even include Huaxia people. No way, this must be brought to the international stage. These bastards must be sanctioned. Damn, so formidable. It's as if they cleared out those countries' databases entirely. See God mighty and majestic. That day, geek forums in Huaxia almost exploded. The materials Fang Jueyu released were too shocking. Those numerous studies violating the humane ethical baseline were also uncovered and exposed by the tech enthusiasts on the forums to the international forums. The forum, 92 Great Mr. God, spread across the world's networks within a day. Paper couldn't cover fire forever. Some countries who self-righteously believed that their deeds would never be known finally saw everything exposed to the light of day on this day. Strongly condemn a certain country's human experimentation. Demand an explanation to the international public. Strongly condemn a certain country's nuclear weapon deployment plan. This is a violation of the United Nations Security Council's regulations. Demand sanctions. Finally found evidence of the events from back then. They can no longer escape historical condemnation. Various sounds internationally surged, destined to be a farce that couldn't be calmed for a long time. Not bad, not bad, the effect is great. Fang Jueyu enjoyed his breakfast while watching the news. Which of these countries hasn't done something shady behind closed doors? Fang Jueyu dug them all up and threw them online, causing an explosive effect that nearly buried these countries in international criticism. Host, just a reminder, you have an appointment with that young man named Chin Yun at Antian Peak this morning. I got too carried away and lost track of time. Fang Jueyu smacked his head as he checked the time. It was already past 8 o'clock. Oh well, no big deal, Xinyu went there today. She'll probably bring Chin Yun in. No need to stress over such a small matter. Fang Jueyu opened his task panel, and sure enough, the number of his followers had increased by 1. It seemed Chin Yun had completed the oath. More than that, I want to see how they will respond. Fang Jueyu knew some people just weren't afraid of boiling water, but for a brazen fool, there wasn't much that could rile him up. The information released online is unverified. These are baseless accusations. We strongly condemn this. Our country urges everyone to resist false information, and we call on all countries to remain rational. We reserve the right to hold accountable those responsible. Regarding the human experiment videos, our experts have already submitted the review report. They are all artificially created to defame us. The analysis has been published, and we welcome any scrutiny from the international community. The capability to lie with eyes wide open is unparalleled. I give up. 66,666. Can't you come up with a better excuse? These are ironclad proofs. How can you deny them? So many people couldn't break through Skynet, and now they've stooped to mudslinging. I've never seen such shameless people. For God's sake, see God take them down again. We're willing to lead the charge. See God requesting to fight. Paratrooper number 1, Lu Ben X requesting to fight. Paratrooper number 2, Dasima requesting to fight. Paratrooper number 3, Ma Feifei requesting to fight. Haha, they're really flustered now, coming up with such excuses. Fang Jueyu sneered deeply. If you have no shame, don't blame me for tearing your faces apart. Cien, everyone calm down. Did you think that's it? It's not that simple. We must give them a big New Year's gift. Haha, see God is here. See God, get them. Zioyi, help me find out which country organized yesterday's action. I'll start strong and warn the rest. Fang Jueyu laughed. I wanted a peaceful New Year, but it looks like this year's New Year's Eve is going to be a bloody storm. Host, it has been determined that the first call to attack Huaxia's Skynet was by O's Kingdom, purely fictional, to prevent 404. Of course it's them. It was exactly as Fang Jueyu had suspected. This country, one of the few as powerful as the United States, had always had bad relations with Huaxia, fearing Huaxia's rise. Zioyi, think of a way to deal with them properly. There are many ways, it's up to you which one to use, Zioyi said. The simplest one. Just gather all the hidden elementers and source energy users from the Fang family, flatten the O's Kingdom, and wipe it off the map. Fang Jueyu broke out in cold sweat. If he really did that, he would practically be declaring world domination. Zioyi was mercilessly suggesting a lethal move without hesitation. Yaji, no need, really no need. Fang Jueyu quickly dismissed this terrifying idea. We're in an era of peace now. Let's not always resort to violence, okay? Is there a civilized way? Not every problem should be solved with force. Coward, Zioyi sneered. Just a mere country, and this is your small-mindedness. I'm telling you, if your ancestors encountered such blind fools in the galaxy, they'd send a fleet and obliterate the entire planet. Well, I just don't have such a broad vision as my ancestors. Fang Jueyu was both shocked and scared. His ancestors' fiery tempers were indeed a bit frightening. There's a peaceful way too. Wage economic warfare. Disrupt their currency market and energy market until it's in shambles. Oh, that's more like it. Fang Jueyu's eyes lit up. This was a killer move. A massive plan was forming in Fang Jueyu's mind. Young master, do you have any instructions for me? Zhuang Ying approached Fang Jueyu. How much capital do I have available now? Fang Jueyu asked. Since the last time you purchased shares of Tanksun, then proceeded with server construction, and the purchase of supercomputers, The Fang family currently has about 300 billion US dollars in liquidity. 300 billion US dollars seems a bit inadequate. Fang Jueyu frowned. Sister Ying, mobilize over 1 trillion US dollars in 3 days for me. Can it be done? No problem, I can pull from other families. It won't even take 3 days to gather 1 trillion US dollars. Zhuang Ying was a bit curious about what Fang Jueyu planned to do with so much money. Also, how many traders do you have in the financial markets? How capable are they? There are a few thousand people at the Zhuang family, and including other families, there should be around 10,000. They're all elite in the financial world, each with strong individual capabilities. Great, contact them for me. There's something big I need their help with, Fang Jueyu nodded with satisfaction. Additionally, terminate all business partnerships with the O's kingdom starting today, pay any breach fees. Young master, that will be a significant loss for us. We have quite a few partnerships with the O's kingdom. Zhuang Ying realized that Fang Jueyu was targeting the O's kingdom. No worries, I'll have them pay back with interest, Fang Jueyu said indifferently. This amount of money didn't concern him. By the way, Sister Ying, are you curious why I'm targeting the O's kingdom? Fang Jueyu usually acted without question, and Zhuang Ying mainly aided him in handling matters, but this time she was indeed a bit curious. What happened to make Fang Jueyu mobilize so many resources? This was truly a one-man battle against a state machine. The reason is simple, because the attack on Skynet yesterday was spearheaded by the O's kingdom. Fang Jueyu cracked his knuckles loudly. Some things once done must be paid for. Dong tilde tilde. As the New Year's bell rang, representing the time for Huaxia to bid farewell to the old and welcome the new, Fang Jueyu and Gogh Xinyu's family gathered joyfully in the living room to celebrate the arrival of the new year. Xiao Fang, Happy New Year. Gogh Shu and his wife took out the red envelopes they had prepared long ago. Although Fang Jueyu didn't lack this bit of money, it was a traditional custom, a gesture for good luck. Our family has relied on you this past year. You and Xinyu must get along well in the future. Even though this girl can't help much with your career, she's a good homemaker. Show her some patience, Gogh Shu said, holding Fang Jueyu's hands. Dad, do you really have to say that? Gogh Xinyu pouted. Was she his daughter or was Fang Jueyu his real son? How could any parent speak about their daughter this way? Uncle and Auntie, this is a little something from me. Fang Jueyu had also prepared a red envelope. However, the envelope contained not money but a bank card directly linked to his account. Brother-in-law, what about mine? Gogh Xinyu grinned as he approached Fang Jueyu. After some time training at the Super God Academy, Gogh Xinyu had become tall and upright, and his features were more handsome and mature. Don't worry, I wouldn't forget my little brother-in-law. Fang Jueyu handed him the prepared red envelope. Thanks, brother-in-law. Gogh Xinyu accepted it with a cheerful smile. By the way, Uncle Gogh, I heard you dabble in the stock market. Have you invested in any shares related to the O's kingdom? No, why? Gogh Shu was puzzled by the question since his stock trading was just small scale. Good, I fear when the market fluctuates, you'll lose too much money, Fang Jueyu laughed. The impact of the currency market's collapse was like a butterfly effect. It would definitely affect the stock market. You have some inside information. Gogh Shu suddenly thought of Fang Jueyu's enigmatic abilities. Perhaps Fang Jueyu knew some insider news. Oh, it's not really insider information. Isn't there that recent hacking incident stirring everything up? Those countries are slinging mud at us. I have a friend who's had enough and plans to stir things up a bit, Fang Jueyu said casually. Brother-in-law, a classmate of mine wants to know if the friend you mentioned is actually you. With his brain developed, Gogh Xinyu easily figured it out. Probably, the only one daring to target the O's kingdom directly would be Fang Duantongshan's Fang Jueyu. You're such a smart aleck. Gogh Xinyu tapped Gogh Xinyu's head. Being Fang Jueyu's woman, Gogh Xinyu naturally knew about it and even helped Fang Jueyu strategize many steps. I have to tell my friends to sell their stocks as soon as the market opens tomorrow morning. Although Gogh Shu didn't play much, he had many friends in the stock market, a considerable favor indeed. After some small talk, everyone retired to their rooms for the night. Sleeping at his in-laws' house, Fang Jueyu dared not do anything inappropriate with Gogh Xinyu. Instead, he spent the entire night practicing the potential guiding technique. By the time he awoke from that state, it was already morning. Fang Jueyu checked the time, almost 10 o'clock. The stock market had opened, and presumably the friends Gogh Shu informed had already divested. Fang Jueyu took out his phone and dialed a number. Begin. Just wait, you little brat. At Fang Jueyu's command, the thousands of traders who had been waiting for his order began frantically operating with the funds provided by him. Perhaps due to the last, well-executed attack on the Ladinic family, just from yesterday alone, Zhuang Ying managed to gather over 800 billion US dollars from various families. A trillion was just an appetizer. Fang Jueyu's goal was to gather a total of 5 trillion. After all, the O's kingdom wasn't an ordinary small country, but an economic powerhouse on par with Huaxia. A mere $1 trillion wouldn't be enough to topple them. Within minutes, dozens of orders slammed into the O's kingdom's currency market. Caught off guard, they were overwhelmed, and in just a moment, the O's kingdom's exchange rate dropped by 1%. What's happening? A chaotic noise erupted in the O's kingdom's currency market. As a major world power, the O's kingdom's exchange rate had been stable for a long time, without any significant fluctuations. But this seemed to be just the beginning. Without any chance to react, a dozen more sell orders crashed into the market, causing the exchange rate to drop another percentage point. Mr. Su, there's trouble in the market. You'd better come over. Minister, there's an urgent situation. It seems someone is attacking our currency market. A wave of panic struck, and the entire currency trading building plunged into chaos. Calls were made, reports were filed. Although it was just 2%, the financial experts knew clearly how much enormous capital was needed to achieve this. It was certainly not a normal market fluctuation. In a building in the O's kingdom, a man seemingly in his 50s just put down the phone, his face turning quite grim. He was Snat, the Minister of Finance of the O's kingdom. Just now, the finance department told Snat that a few minutes ago, someone maliciously attacked the O's kingdom's financial market. The attack came from bank accounts around the world, and they were already using foreign exchange reserves to counter it actively. Who is doing this? Snat didn't feel panic. As a world-class power, the O's kingdom was vastly different from smaller countries. Possibly a few $100 billion US dollars flowing into the market could collapse the exchange rate market of this country. The O's kingdom's foreign exchange reserves were incredibly massive. Moreover, they had very friendly relations with the United States. If necessary, they could activate the printing presses to gather a large amount of funds. The key was finding out who was behind the attack on the O's kingdom. Could it be the Huaxians? Snat's political insight was sharp. Such an event in Huaxia was so silent. Were they preparing for this attack? Huaxia's US dollar reserves reached 3.1 trillion, the world's largest without a doubt. They certainly had the power and motive to execute such a thing. We must verify immediately. Snat quickly dialed a number. Shortly after, a call came in. Minister, I've just confirmed. It's not Huaxia's doing. There hasn't been any change in Huaxia's foreign exchange reserves. The market was hit with over 150 billion US dollars. This attack likely came from another source. Fortunately, the O's kingdom also had over $1 trillion in foreign exchange reserves. By the time the foreign exchange market closed that day, the exchange rate had stabilized at just a 2.3% drop without suffering any severe damage. It's only the first day of the new year. I have plenty of time to play with you guys. Fang Jueyu turned off the computer. Zio Fang, come out for a late-night snack. Gu Xinyu's mother called out from outside. Coming. Fang Jueyu put on his slippers, which he had kicked 5 meters away, and jogged back to the living room. The unexpected incident in the foreign exchange market was no small matter. Many individuals and corporations were involved, and the news had spread worldwide as soon as the first short order landed in the market. Naturally, the netizens were among the first to get the news. Those netizens suddenly thought of CN's words. It seemed he had said yesterday that this matter would not end so easily. They remembered that the O's kingdom appeared to be one of the members that launched an attack alongside Huaxia's Skynet that night. Could this be the counterattack of the CN master? However, according to financial experts, that mysterious force directly invested over 100 billion US dollars in the O's kingdom's foreign exchange market. Is this something a normal person could do? Let alone if you could muster up those 100 billion US dollars. Even if you could, most people wouldn't dare to do it. The exchange rate market is volatile. Even such a massive amount of money could be wiped out with the wrong move. Isn't that too bold? Delving further, only 3 individuals in the world have personal wealth exceeding 100 billion US dollars. Jeff Bezos, Ma Teng, and Fang Jueyu. Jeff Bezos was the first to be ruled out. His 130 billion assets included fixed assets, but over 100 billion US dollars in liquid funds is a straight cash out, and he'd have to sell cars, houses, and shares to come up with it. Only a fool would do such a thing, and besides, he had no motive. As for Ma Teng and Fang Jueyu, the likelihood that it was Fang Jueyu was far greater. Ma Teng's assets exceeded 400 billion US dollars, but most were in shares of Tencent, and his liquid assets might barely exceed 100 billion. Yet the chance of him doing such a thing was too slim. As for Fang Jueyu, it seemed no one ever made a concrete evaluation of his assets. This 500 billion US dollars is a very conservative estimate. Apart from members of the Fang family, only Wang Kong knew how wealthy he really was. This mere 500 billion may not even be a tenth of his total assets. But how could this CN possibly be Fang Jueyu? Or could Fang Jueyu know this CN? Did the two of them just hit it off and start this revenge plan directly? By this time, Huaxia's forums and Weibo had already erupted with activity. Under Fang Jueyu's last sweepstakes post, there were already millions of comments. These comments were almost all asking if it was him who manipulated the O's Kingdom's exchange rate market, or whether he knew CN, with some even more directly asking if Fang Jueyu and CN were the same person. Happy New Year, everyone. I'm celebrating at my mother-in-law's house. Where would I have the time to play with that stuff? Fang Jueyu didn't want to be pushed to the forefront. He released a video showing him indeed celebrating New Year's at Guo Xinyu's house, seemingly detached from the storm in the Yaosi country's exchange rate market. Damn, how did they immediately suspect me? Is it really so hard for me to stay low-key? After posting the update, Fang Jueyu's heart was beating faster than after a 100-meter sprint. At this time, Zhuang Ying called him. Young master, the capital turnover task is still in progress, but due to the Yaosi country's exchange rate market issue, the turnover speed will be much slower. By the estimated open tomorrow, we'll be able to secure 1.5 trillion US dollars in funds. Although this is more than O's Kingdom's foreign exchange reserves, they could stabilize the market with allied countries' help. But I think many people will be watching the O's Kingdom's exchange rate market tomorrow, with numerous financial tycoons and certain organizations joining in to capitalize on the situation. If we want to achieve the best results, we should get some more money. Come on, I've got so many banks. Is it really that hard to move some money around? Fang Jueyu was somewhat displeased. There's no other way. If we force the transfer, there won't be an issue, but our trail might be exposed, leading to them finding out we're attacking their market. No worries, you handle the turnover. Don't worry about the small stuff. Fang Jueyu breathed a sigh of relief. He thought it was his own money not circulating, but it turned out to be just a fear of leaving traces. That small issue could be handled by Zhao Yi. Okay, young master, then I'll proceed with the forced turnover. Go ahead, Fang Jueyu said. So complicated, I didn't expect other financial organizations to get involved. Fang Jueyu rubbed his temples. As a programmer, he didn't really understand financial matters, but he knew one thing for sure. The more money they had, the better. Haha, you have foreign aid, but so do I. Fang Jueyu revealed a devilish smile. He immediately dialed Ma Teng's number. Boss Ma, Happy New Year. May your business prosper. Ha ha ha, Mr. Fang, same to you. Ma Teng appeared to be in a good mood, but on the other end, he wore a deeply meaningful expression. Reaching out on New Year's morning, greeting in the middle of the night, knowing Fang Jueyu, the young man must be up to something. Mr. Fang, just say what you need. Don't I know you well? Ha ha ha, Boss Ma is still sharp. Fang Jueyu laughed candidly. Boss Ma, do you have any spare cash? Lend me for a week, I'll at least double it for you. Borrow money? Ma Teng thought he heard the funniest joke in the world. Who would lack money? Certainly not Fang Jueyu, the world's richest man borrowing money. Isn't that absurd? If it were just a little, I wouldn't have asked. At least several hundred billion, how much can you spare? Fang Jueyu asked directly. Wait, did you do the O's Kingdom thing? Ma Teng, being astute, connected the dots to today's events immediately. If Fang Jueyu did it, his money problem made sense. Going against a country, it's no joke. Yes, I did, Fang Jueyu admitted easily. What's the maximum liquid fund you can spare? How confident are you? Ma Teng knew this was an opportunity. Of course, his money might also go down the drain. 100%, no surprises. With Zhao Yi controlling everything, it would be bizarre if Fang Jueyu ended up losing money. All right, Ma Teng knew Fang Jueyu had many unknown means. VR technology already proved his omnipotence. I can mobilize up to 98 billion US dollars now. That's enough, Fang Jueyu had a satisfied smile. That was several hundred billion more than he expected. Give me an account and I'll send it over. Yes. Mr. Hilton, it's me, Fang Jueyu. Mr. Arnold, got any spare cash? It's me, Huaxia's Fang Jueyu. At the Queen of England's banquet, Fang Jueyu met quite a few wealthy people. Though each had limited liquid funds, some ranging from a few billion to no more than 10 billion US dollars, it added up to over 200 billion US dollars in total. Forget it, I might as well bring in Wang Kong. He could ask his dad for a bit. Fang Jueyu heard that Wang Lin's beta had run into some difficulties recently, with their assets shrinking alarmingly. Hey Wang Kong, are you there? What are you doing? Want to make some money?